Welcome back, dweebs, to another episode of the Weekly Dweeb. With me, as always, is my good friend Kev. Kev, we've got our first look at Kratos, played by Ryan Hurst, and Atreus in the God of War Amazon Prime TV show. This has caused quite the firestorm upon the internet.
What?
So I'm going to bring it up, show it to you. Let's talk about our thoughts on it. But mainly, I really want to talk about, is it possible to have anything, to like anything in the internet these days, specifically on Twitter? So this is our first look at them, at Kratos and Atreus in the Norse series. So Kev, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, I'd say that's pretty close.
Let me get us off this.
Now,
up a little bit.
I haven't played the game, as we've discussed before on previous episodes, at least none of this version of the game. I've got the old PS2 era Kratos in my mind. So as far as the kid goes, based on my limited memory, I feel like the hair is what sticks out to me. I'm like, oh yeah, they got about the right haircut there. But as far as Kratos, who of course, Gary Bertier would be on the left side.
Yeah, we joked about not being able to not, you can't not see it if you know the reference.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I just like to imagine he yelled at the photographer, I have to stand on the left side.
Yep.
It's my strong side. But I look at this, and outside of what James mentioned, it being impossible not to see even either Gary Bertier or Opie, when I look into this man's face, my first inclination is this looks pretty good, James, that even down to the forehead wrinkles, that it looks like Kratos to me was my first takeaway. Now, the longer you look at it, the more you're like, okay, I mean, yeah, it's
you can pick it apart.
A one for one reimagining from the video game. Like, he doesn't look exactly like him, but I feel like for an early production photo, this is a good sign. Like, I'd be more positive about this than negative. You know, like this isn't Sonic the Hedgehog with the missing gloves or whatever it was everybody freaked out about. We're like, wow, that's a core element to the character design. How'd you get that so wrong? To me, it's like, okay, that looks like Kratos. I mean, it's probably not the final version, but that looks good enough, I think. What about you?
That's how I feel.
You know this Kratos.
I know, yeah, like
I do.
I sent it to you, and my initial thoughts were, damn, like this looks pretty fucking good. You've got, he looks pretty game accurate. I was gonna say comic, game accurate. Atreus is a little young, but it makes a lot of sense for real life purposes that you want a younger character, because he's going to age quickly and you have to be careful or he'll age right out of your show. And like, I was like, all right, this looks like, he looks like Kratos. You see the axe, he's got scar on the eye. Like, he's got the makeup correct. He looks the part. And I texted you and I was like, damn, like, I think this looks pretty good. Now once you bring it up and you look closer, I'm like, you know, like, it's a set photo, right? Like, there's bits and pieces, but man, oh fucking man, has the internet lost their fucking mind.
Yeah, I mean, and like, I've just, you know, like the body paint maybe was one of the first things where I'm like, I don't know if that's exactly right, but you know, you're off to a good start.
Yeah.
So how did the internet handle it, James?
The internet has lost it. Like, I'm now firmly convinced that you can't have anything nice on the internet, especially Twitter. They just ripped it apart. They've bitched about the beard not being correct, like not being filled in correctly. They've bitched about his nose being wrong, and I'm like, wait, hold on. We're gonna complain about the actor's nose? Like, Kratos isn't a real life person, guys. They need to fulfill the character and have the essence of the character. They're not going to look exactly like him. They've complained like that the shape of his nose. I've seen people complain about the shape of his nose being wrong.
These are like the people that complain that Chris Nolan's The Odyssey is not going to be using era accurate armor as if they don't realize that the original source material was also fiction,
Yeah,
friends. Like
they
Homer,
missed that
that is
part.
not a documentary poem that he
Yeah.
wrote. It is a work of fiction. So you should not be held down to the same standard that, for instance, I would have liked to have been applied to the Napoleon Bonaparte film, where they just, that one, yeah, tear that to shreds because it's so historically inaccurate. It
Yeah.
makes Napoleon look like a weird little cuck instead of one of the greatest generals of all time. This is a work of fiction.
Yeah.
Also
Based on a work of
based on a
fiction.
computer generated, in this case, the image, it's not like it's, oh well, it's based on a human actor and the guy that you've gotten to replace him doesn't look enough like. First of all, screw that.
That's so
We
stupid.
have discussed this before about being very supportive of recasting when the
Yeah.
situation calls for it. And so, of course, I'm not going to nitpick this to that level, but the beard is one thing. If you want to say, hey, a beard is very manageable for anybody with an Amazon budget. All right. I could say, all right, fair.
Fair enough.
I
Like,
didn't notice it, but if you show it to me and I see it, I'll say, yeah, sure. Let's get that beard
yeah.
squared up. But do we need to add prosthetics to the nose so that it
Like,
looks closer? These are the wrong critiques. That it should
wrong. Yeah.
be the core of the character. Does the character feel right? And it doesn't have to be that they look exactly like this PlayStation 5 generated character. That, to me, is either A, you're in the business of making money by complaining about things, and
It's all
since
the
you
end. It's
can't
what people are, man. It's what it's
since
become.
you can't currently throw the get woke, go broke at old Kratos, so instead you're just gonna attach
Yeah.
on to the look of the character. It's either that
People,
or you're just, I'm sorry, but you're in the wrong lane for
yeah,
me personally.
it's just crazy, man. People have complained that he doesn't have enough abs, to which I would argue to anybody, go bend over and look in the mirror and notice your fat rolls, you fucking lazy bastards. If you bend over, regardless of how many abs you have, they disappear slightly. Because you know what? They're not, your fucking skin's not tight on them, you idiots. Adding to it is the creator of God of War, David Jaff, who created the original games on PlayStation, has come out and said Kratos looks like he's shitting in the woods in this picture. He's gone off on the picture, but he also says it's a terrible image. It's so bad in many ways, which we'll talk about in a moment. But he's like, Ron Moore is awesome, who's a showrunner. He goes on to be like, I'm not worried about this show at all. He's like, he says Ron Moore is in it. Corey Balrog, who directed God of War, the Norse one, is in it. Like, he's like, it's going to be good. I'm not worried about it. But he's like, who the fuck greenlit this picture? He's like, they've got a giant styrofoam rock. Kratos looks like he's shitting, etc. Right? And it's just, people just piled on. People shit on the kid actor, to which I will say, shame on you. Like, go fuck yourself. He's a kid. Like, and he's a kid in a still picture. Like, we don't, like, shut the fuck up. And then adding to a lot of what's going on, and I don't know what this is or what it means, but Ryan Hurst, the actor who plays Kratos, posted on his Instagram story after that was real, don't believe everything you see on the internet, kids, which I have nobody knows what it means. So like, it's a complete mess. My issue is that you just can't have anything nice on the internet. Like, you're not allowed to like anything on the internet. You have to be a curmudgeon and hate everything. It's the easiest thing, right? And like you said, their go-to is calling shit woke. They couldn't do it with this, so they just started shitting on everything they could. So I'm annoyed as fuck with it, because I thought it looked pretty good, and I'm tired of the internet hating everything. I'm tired of not being allowed to like anything.
Well, and I have to expand on this a little bit. I had forgotten that David Jaffe worked on God of War. I don't know that I'm pronouncing it right, but we got them both covered. Between the two of us, we've got it covered one way or the other. I mainly remember him as the Twisted Metal guy, but I want to call this
did Twisted
out.
Metal too.
I think it is important to call out, and this is very interesting. This is when worlds collide, James. So Danny and I have, over on the Clout Route, we have had David's former podcast co-host, Bunny. We've had her on as a guest on our show before. So yeah, we've actually, so he's been in the chat of the Clout Route a time or two.
That's fun.
To support his co-host, but he's a very interesting guy because he's no longer, to my knowledge,
associated with Sony anymore. Yeah,
exactly. He's not doing any of these games.
Yeah.
He's not working on it. He's actually a content creator. I don't know what else he does. I'm sure he's still doing some kind of art in some form, but he does like the commentary podcast stuff, James, the stuff that would normally come across Danny and I's desk, not necessarily what you and I talk about on this program.
Interesting.
But he is a bit of a shock jock to some degree.
Okay.
Like his moments of internet fame that have come from the generation that was too young to play Twisted Metal are about him saying some pretty provocative things online. So he kind of fits this whole person that we've been collectively complaining about here when we talk about the types of people that are complaining about it. It's just that his opinion is going to hold way more weight because he was actually involved in the game. So it's sort of, it adds a whole extra credibility that in any other situation I would say is warranted, but in this particular case, I'm halfway ready to press X to doubt because this guy is in the hot take game now. Like that's now he makes his money. It also is probably best for his business to talk a little shit about this, whether he
makes
truly
a little
feels that way or not. So that is very interesting to me.
Yeah,
I can't unsee it though. Now that he said, looks like he's shitting in the woods.
Yeah, it's funny.
Kind of see that now.
I don't think it's the greatest image you should have released, but I'm also not judging the whole show based on another image because they also announced 4 more actors cast today. They cast Magni, they cast Modi, and they cast Thrud, who are Thor's 2 sons and daughter. And then they also cast the leader of the Valkyrie Warriors. So like, and they're all people. I'm like, damn, like they look the fucking parts. The one thing I will say about Jaff or Jaffe or however the fuck you say his name, is that he did he shits on it. He absolutely does, but he also gives multiple paragraph responses of no, I'm not worried about this show. He shits more on the specific image in the show where he talks about it. He's like, nah, the people that are in charge of this, we got this. He's just like, whoever picked that picture to release as the first one needs to never be they need to be, that's it. Never again.
That is right in the pocket, dude. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good for the sake of the show. Cause I know that the two of us up here are rooting for the show to be good. I'm really hoping that everything works out. So
I am too. Fingers are still crossed. I have a lot of hope in this show. I have a lot of belief in this show.
And I can't disagree, like you called out as well. Was it the best choice of the first image you're going to provide? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you should have had a couple more options. Or hell, another good way to avoid this level of criticism. I think James is just about to say this. Just release more than one photo. How about that?
I was just going to say a teaser, which maybe the filming's not there yet. Maybe you're not in post-production enough, but do multiple pictures like you said, or a short teaser.
Or do it just straight up actually behind the scenes and then so then to move into a trailer or a teaser.
A still picture probably wasn't the best way to go about it. But I'm also not. I'm not jumping the shark on a fucking still picture.
It's at the same time, I think we're on the same page there because as I'm critiquing it, I'm thinking obviously you would want to make potentially a better first impression. But when I see it, I see this is an early production photo. Chances are they're not even filming anything yet. This might have been the first time they put those costumes on. And so I'm not expecting it to be what I'm going to see in the final edit anyway. So I guess I'm just not putting a lot of stock into it. They would have had to make it a lot worse than this for me to be concerned, I guess, James, is the best way for me to encapsulate how I'm feeling about this.
Yeah, so we're still on board. We'll wait to make judgment a long time down the road when we see some actual footage. But yeah, we're still here. So thank you guys for joining us. This has been the Weekly Dweeb. Please like, subscribe, and share as we work our way towards 200. Fell apart there. And then hit that notification bell because Kev loves to see that happen. So thank you guys for joining us. This has been the Weekly Dweeb. Until next time.